Acid mantle. The surface of your skin is chemically active, even though you can't feel it. Beyond acting as a physical barrier, it maintains a thin acidic layer that controls what can survive on contact. This layer is constantly forming, wearing down and rebuilding as your skin interacts with the environment. That acidity forms when sweat, oils, and amino acids break down on the surface, creating conditions that disrupt many microbes. Bacterial membranes weaken, growth slows, and reproduction becomes inefficient. You pick up bacteria constantly from phones, clothing, and surfaces, but most of it can't persist long enough to matter. You don't notice this because when it works, nothing happens. Microbes lose ground early, and balance quietly returns. That balance is fragile. Long, hot showers dilute surface acidity. Harsh soaps strip the oils that help maintain it. Conditions like eczema push the skin toward a more alkaline state, making it easier for bacteria like Staphylococcus aureus to persist. By the time irritation appears, the chemistry has already shifted. Melanin Shield. Your skin is constantly managing sunlight, whether you're aware of it or not. Light supports essential processes, but it also carries ultraviolet radiation that can damage DNA. Your body uses sunlight to produce vitamin D, supporting bone and immune health. At the same time, excess UV exposure creates cellular stress. Your skin doesn't treat sunlight as good or bad, it treats it as something that must be controlled. Melanin is how that control happens. This pigment absorbs and scatters ultraviolet energy before it penetrates deeper layers. Instead of UV striking DNA directly, much of that energy is absorbed at the surface. Melanin levels reflect ancestral environments. In high UV regions, darker skin evolved stronger, longer-lasting pigment to reduce cellular damage and protect folate. In lower UV regions, lighter skin allowed more sunlight through to support vitamin D production. You don't feel this balance in real time. Sun exposure rarely hurts immediately. Long after you step indoors, your skin is still repairing DNA and adjusting pigment in response. Microbiome defense. Your skin is never truly clean. Even after washing, it's quickly repopulated by microbes that permanently live there. These bacteria form organized communities shaped by oil, moisture, and friction. The microbes on your face differ from those on your arms, and what thrives behind your knees wouldn't survive on your palms. Throughout the day, these microbes compete for space and resources. Those adapted to your skin consume nutrients, produce acids, and alter surface chemistry in ways that block harmful species. When something unwanted lands on your skin, it enters an environment that already favors its residents. You don't notice this when it works, because nothing dramatic happens. Potential invaders simply fail to take hold. Problems arise when the balance is disrupted. Harsh soaps, antibiotics, and constant sanitizing don't just remove harmful bacteria. They clear space. Whatever arrives next gains an advantage, and the original balance doesn't always return, even when the skin looks normal again. Keratin Barrier. The outermost layer of your skin is made of cells that are no longer alive, and that's exactly why it works. These flattened cells are packed with keratin and locked together into a dense shield that absorbs damage your living tissue shouldn't. Friction from clothing, contact with surfaces, and exposure to chemicals all hit this layer first. Because these cells aren't alive, there's nothing for microbes to interact with. They don't signal or respond. They simply form a barrier that slows water loss and blocks access to deeper layers. Without it, moisture would escape rapidly, and everyday contact would cause constant irritation. This layer is continuously replaced. Old cells shed, taking surface contaminants with them, while new cells rise from below. You rarely notice this unless something interferes. When skin becomes too dry or inflamed, cracks form more easily. Moisture escapes, flexibility drops, and microbes linger instead of sliding off. Even when skin looks normal, this layer is constantly adjusting to pressure and movement, protecting the tissue underneath. Sebum Barrier. Your skin produces oil continuously. That oil isn't accidental, it's structural. Sebum spreads in a thin film across the surface, filling microscopic gaps between skin cells. As you move and encounter dry air or friction, it slows water loss and keeps the outer layer flexible. Without it, skin would crack under normal stress. Sebum also interacts with sweat to maintain surface chemistry that discourages certain microbes. At the same time, it carries fat-soluble antioxidants that absorb environmental damage before it reaches deeper layers. Balance is critical. Too little oil increases cracking and irritation. Too much creates environments where certain bacteria thrive. Neither extreme is stable. Sebum production adjusts constantly with hormones, temperature, and environment. These shifts often happen before visible changes, which is why skin can feel different before it looks different. Immune surveillance. Your skin isn't waiting for problems. It's actively monitored, even when everything appears calm. As microbes and particles land on the surface, immune cells below sample what's there. They move between skin cells, reading chemical traces and fragments, deciding whether contact is harmless or requires action. Most of the time, nothing escalates. Reacting to everything would cause nonstop inflammation, so signals are filtered quietly. When that filtering works, you never notice it. When something does raise concern, the response starts early and stays controlled. Information is passed deeper, so defenses can scale before damage becomes visible. When this system struggles, delays show. Infections feel sudden. Inflammation feels excessive. What appears on the surface reflects decisions that started earlier, while your skin was still trying to contain the problem quietly. Thermoregulation. Your body manages heat long before you feel overheated. By the time warmth becomes uncomfortable, your skin has already been working to keep internal temperature within safe limits. As you move or enter warm environments, heat builds internally. Sweat glands activate and release fluid onto the surface. As that moisture spreads and evaporates, it pulls heat away from blood just beneath the skin, slowing temperature rise. Sweating begins early, often before discomfort registers. The goal isn't comfort. It's to slow heat accumulation so vital organs, especially the brain, stay within safe ranges. Humans rely on this system more than most animals. Steady sweating allows heat release over long periods, which matters during extended activity or prolonged heat exposure. Sweat also carries salts and antimicrobial compounds that alter surface chemistry. But fluid loss adds up. As dehydration sets in, evaporation becomes less efficient, circulation shifts, and heat lingers longer than the body can manage comfortably. Sensory network. Your skin constantly collects information about the environment. Most of it never reaches awareness because it doesn't need to. As you touch objects or move through different temperatures, receptors beneath the skin track pressure, heat, stretch, and potential damage. These signals guide how much force is safe, how long contact can last, and when something needs to stop. Pain is the fastest signal this system sends. When something is too hot or sharp, withdrawal happens before conscious thought. That speed matters because tissue damage escalates quickly. Most signals are subtle. Sensation constantly adjusts grip, posture, and movement throughout the day. As you walk, sit, type, or hold objects, your skin recalibrates what's tolerable to keep stress within safe limits. When this system fails, damage accumulates. When it works, it stays invisible, quietly shaping interaction while preventing injury.